ADHD can indeed impact your life. Have you ever felt that if you had the courage to act exactly as you think, everything would be different? People would respect and admire you? Many adults with ADHD are wasting precious time in life because they can't break free from the cycle of self-sabotage. But I developed a method that changed my game, and I'm going to teach it to you in the first link in the description. Another important point, okay? It's really about understanding what ADHD is and what it isn't. Understand the following: ADHD has a lot of subtleties, okay? ADHD is not just that perception we have of a hyperactive child who crosses the street without looking, who talks a lot, and is impulsive. Many partners of people with ADHD see them as rude, distracted, immature, or selfish. Regarding these main adjectives you might be hearing at home, whether you have ADHD or you're the neurotypical partner saying, "Hey, I tend to think that about them." Seeing yourself as rude often has to do with this issue of impulsivity. With the issue of self-monitoring, you try to ease that. This issue isn't even about being rude. It's about being harsh, impatient. Balance self-monitoring with others' flexibility. It's about being a bit harsh, a little impatient, okay? And there needs to be a good balance between you self-monitoring and the other person being flexible as well. That you understand this. When it happens, don't get upset. Don't take it personally, okay? In this case, let's suppose the neurotypical partner that sometimes ADHD. He's going to say something, then she's going to interrupt him, and he's like, no, wait, let me talk, you know? If he doesn't say it now, what he wants to say, he's going to forget it, right? And then that can be seen as a rude move. It's a harsh thing like that, and it's not. So it really needs a lot of practicing empathy. Don't treat ADHD partners as victims. Understand their difficulties are often beyond control. That's not it. But you have to understand that many times he has this difficulty and that it's way beyond his control. Of limited control, as a whole, this is science. It's part of the main traits of ADHD. So, in that sense, you have to understand it like this. Man, he was harsh, but he's done that before. And I know it's not on purpose, so I won't mind it. I'll let it slide. Did you get it? It's more like that, guys. It's about understanding things as they are and not as they are not. Regarding immaturity, that is, having behaviors, a person with ADHD that sound like a child because of excessive organization, like for example, in my case, right? And that doesn't mean being a child, as I've already explained, how our mind works in this case. We know that there is, yes, a natural immaturity, and now I'm going to talk to young couples. Okay, under 25 years old, ADHD has a natural immaturity. It's part of your biology, your neurobiology, and that comes into play. It affects childhood and adolescence a lot, meaning a teenager with ADHD who is 15 years old might have the maturity of a 13-year-old, sometimes even 12. A 10-year-old child has the maturity of an 8-year-old, sometimes even 7. So you need to recognize that now after 25 years old, this tends to stabilize. Natural immaturity usually affects ADHD up to the age of 25. Maybe a little more, but if you're an older couple over 30, for example, know that this issue of seeming immature is really just an impression, honestly, with everything I've said here. Bringing this clarity, and it's not exactly a real neurobiological symptom of this natural immaturity. When a person with ADHD is labeled as too passive, we usually get that label in things we don't have control over, that we usually don't take the lead on. So for example, you dealing with certain tasks, some specific rules at home, some tasks that you divided, that you have no interest in at all. My God, you won't be able to perform in that. So things that generate little dopamine in us, perform in that. So things that generate little dopamine in us. Dopamine is when, as I've already explained, you're in touch with something that really sparks your interest. A fun little game, a hobby, something like that, that boosts your dopamine up high. And when you're disconnected from that, it's the opposite. It stays down here on the chin. You need to understand this difference. With activities that generate less dopamine, you end up becoming more dependent on others. When it comes to being lazy, we are indeed not lazy. Please, we are not lazy. Understand this. Our chronic procrastination is indeed closely linked to what I said in the previous item in relation to being passive or dopamine, or the issue of you organizing yourself with processes. When you remind your ADHD partner of a task you agreed on, and they procrastinate, remind them of the consequences, what you both lose by delaying. Remind them of immediate consequences, not just the task. What the couple is losing because you are taking so long to complete that task. So for example, reminding them of the immediate consequence of that is much better than just reminding them of the task Like, take the car to the mechanic, take the car to the mechanic, take the car to the mechanic. No. Take the car to the mechanic because you're busy. Because later you're going to procrastinate and then you'll exceed the mileage. You might have a problem with the car. Because later you'll have to be forced to take it in a week when you'll be all tied up. Oh, right. It's better than just reminding you. Another adjective is about being introverted. It's a bit controversial, as in partners who are seen as introverted. It's not always like that because I know many people with ADHD are way too extroverted, but I'm talking about being introverted in specific situations. Generally, those who are extroverted by nature are extroverted anywhere. Now, the person who has some personal issue that ADHD might be involved, they tend to be introverted in one place and extroverted in others, meaning they become very dependent on the environment. That's what I'm trying to say. This also ties into friendships as well. Introversion isn't always about the person. It's often the result of situations, experiences, and circumstances throughout life. If you have situations where you're extroverted on one side and introverted on the other, there's a lot of that situational duality that really depends on the environment you're in, especially the people who are there. There might be some issue with your past. So, you who are neurotypical, don't think that your partner is introverted. Like, wow, you're here in my family and you don't even interact with my mom, your mother-in-law, without even saying anything. I don't know what. Like, calm down. It's not because the person doesn't like you or your family. I'm giving an example, okay. But there are intrinsic situations from your past that might be causing you to shut down. And even as you already know. Self-sabotage, and that's why if you're the neurotypical spouse, you have to have that empathy too. Understand each other. Be mindful of the adjectives you use so that you are always aligned with what you expect from the other person in terms of what they should do and what the other party also expects in terms of what they should perceive. That she seeks to be understanding, to have empathy, and to find that balance between what is expected to be done and what is expected to be understood. Dude, it's essential for having a successful relationship. If you have ADHD, notice and be aware when your non-ADHD partner is trying hard to put all of this into practice. Acknowledge and praise as well. It's a way for you to cooperate, and also don't forget to be less impulsive and reactive. So, if you notice that your partner is being careful, she's trying to repeat things for you. With more clarity, okay, she's trying to do her part too to make the atmosphere more harmonious. Dude, let your guard down. Understand? Tell her that you love her. Say something like, no love, I can see that you're trying. And since I can see that you're trying to understand me, I'm also going to set this new alarm here. I'm going to change such and such in the routine. I'm going to bring something new to the routine so that you don't feel, so that your effort is also recognized by me and has results too in our coexistence here.
Low self-esteem, the feeling of being a bother, thinking 1,000 times before giving your opinion in front of others. Many of these symptoms affect people with ADHD, and I was one of them. I invested in self-knowledge, tried various strategies, and after a lot of training and practice, I developed a method to overcome all of this. And you can also learn about this method in the first link in the description.